I'm endlessly fascinated and curious about the world around us, about business, about politics, about the arts, about culture, developments, social issues, and the people. Most importantly, about the people that are shaping our future. Every night, I get the opportunity to have conversations, to dive into conversations with thought leaders, with change makers, entrepreneurs, politicians, and everyday heroes who unpack the ideas and stories that I think matter to all of us. What's the future of our economy? What's the future of our country? How do we build stronger communities? What can we learn from music, theater, sports, politics, the arts? How does policy shape our real lives? What does leadership look like, real leadership in today's environment? If it's interesting and relevant and topical and we're talking about it, you'll hear about it here at 6 o'clock on the Brian Crombie Radio Hour. I want to have real conversations, in-depth conversations. These are ideas we're sharing. This is the Brian Crombie Radio Hour. Thanks for joining me. Welcome back, everyone, to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour. I've got a really interesting announcement today. The show that is going to start on Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Life After 55 isn't the end. It's the beginning. Next Chapter Chats. It's going to be where real women have real conversations about what comes next. Health, reinvention, purpose, relationships, and the courage to keep growing. Hosted by Pat Brown and Penelope Matheson. Each episode dives into the issues, stories, and laughs that shape this stage of life. Whether you're navigating this change, discovering, rediscovering yourself, or looking for community, this is where you'll find your people. It's going to be on every Monday at 3 o'clock or Saturdays at 10 p.m. on Saga 960 AM, or you can stream anytime at www.saga960am.ca. Because aging isn't a limitation, it's your superpower. You know, this is so exciting, and it's great to have both Penelope and Pat with us tonight to tell us a little bit about themselves and about their show. Penelope, we've met on numerous occasions. You've been so involved in so many different things in the Mississauga community. It's wonderful to see you launching a podcast and a show. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm incredibly honored. So our podcast is actually national, but the show, as you know, is 960 AM, which is incredible. I had my hand up because I just heard 90 seconds ago that our show is now going to air 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Mondays, as well as 10 p.m. on Saturdays, which is awesome.
3 p.m. and 7 p.m. So you're going to be right before me and then right after me. Fantastic.
Exactly.
Like we're in a community.
I just wanted to add on how Pat and I came to be, because Pat actually started Next Chapter Chats. So just over a year ago, I was fed up. I was turning 70 and I couldn't get a contract for if my life depended. And I'm smart and I'm energetic and I'm accomplished and I'm connected and I've raised tens of millions of dollars. And there was just so much judgment around ageism. So I wanted to create a podcast platform that would really address boomer women, because we are a very distinct population segment, highly educated, accomplished, executive roles, breaking glass ceilings. We are not our mother's generation. And yet there's so much ageist assumptions around aging that it is somehow a negative. So when I mentioned this, someone a former colleague and dear friend of mine who I hadn't seen in 15 years said, "You have to meet my friend Pat Brown. She's doing the same thing you're talking about. You two need to connect." We did, and that was less than a year ago.
And you launched a national podcast. Congratulations. That's wonderful. Pat, I don't think we've had the chance to meet. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into this podcast.
Oh, thank you very much, and lovely to meet you. I got into this because with COVID, I wound up in early retirement. Hadn't planned for it. Career in advertising that had spanned actually much of the globe. And suddenly I'm 63 and my job is at an end. And let's be fair, ageism actually starts at 35 in the ad business. So there wasn't a hope that I was going to go in with.
When we were all young, and didn't we all say something like, you can't trust anyone over 30? Like, that's what we all said back
and then we hit 30.
And then I don't even think I ever thought I'd get to be this age. This is like totally out there. So anyhow, I started talking to other women who were of similar ages and similar circumstances and saying, "What are you doing?" And the answer was almost unanimously, I don't know. And when I said, can you see yourself in 10 years? The answer was unanimously, I can't. And it started from there. And I thought, well, let's start having conversations, because somebody has some of the answers. Collectively, we might get all of the answers, because women are really good at sharing thoughts and ideas and emotions.
Community.
So it's community. And we started by just having conversations with people who had plans, others who were doing new and unique and interesting things. I talked to women who were starting new multinational companies. I talked to others who had discovered their ability to paint and to be creative, others who had started new businesses in other countries. I mean, it was amazing the amount of things that women post 65 were doing.
So tell me, what are we going to hear on the show? Are you going to be interviewing some of these people? Are you going to be profiling their work?
Yes.
What's going to happen?
We'll start on Monday with an introduction to Penelope and I, so that you know who you're speaking to, so that you start feeling like you've found a new friend. Then we're going to delve into the issues that are important to us. And we will find people who are either ordinary women like us, who are just doing extraordinary things, or we'll talk to the specific experts. So doctors, lawyers, financiers, somebody that will have information that we really need at this stage in our lives. And funnily enough, didn't get these conversations from our parents, partly because, let's be fair, in our lifetime, our society has actually, we live an extra generation longer. When we were kids, you think about it, when we were kids, back in the day when we were going to school and said we don't trust anybody over 30, the average lifespan of Canadians was about 66 for men and about 69 to 70 for women. Now the average lifespan is late 80s, early 90s. So when you consider that a generation is usually considered no more than 30 years, we've actually expanded by a whole generation. And doctors and sociologists will tell you, if you've lived to the age of 70, you're most likely going to live well into your 90s. So we need to plan for all of that.
Penelope?
I just wanted to focus in on our pillars. We have three core pillars: women's health, mental health, physical health, emotional health. Those are three massive categories, because there's a lot of shifting over 50. That shifting accelerates with every decade. So that's number one. The second pillar is community, as both Pat and I have talked about. If you have been in your career for decades, your work family is your work family. That is your community. Those are your people. And then you've left, and what now? These are routines and familiarity and friendships that have formed, and social occasions that ensue with our positions. So that's number two, is community. And number three is purpose, because we know that, and research, scientific research will support this. When you can age with purpose, feeding your mind, body, spirit, when you age with purpose, you age well and you look forward to it. When you lack purpose, you decline rapidly. And with these decades, every decade, the decline starts. It starts at the age of 10. But notably, after 30, the magic age of 30, those increments of decline widened. So from 40 to 50, 50 to 60 is even greater, 60 to 70, and so forth. So those are the three core pillars, and we bring in experts that can give us their perspectives. We might not agree with them, and that's okay. But it's sharing those conversations so that women can make informed choices, giving them the resources, the tools, to find out more information on their own, and joining our community.
Is this just going to be relevant for females or for men too?
I think both, because quite often, I mean, we are intertwined. Like it or not, we are totally intertwined. We are connected. It's really by women, for women, about women. but men will absolutely want to tune in.
So,
Oh,
I've done a couple of shows on menopause and
mhm,
menopause, and
mhm.
I think that number one, it's really important and helpful for you to educate females about that. But you know what? I don't think a lot of men understand
Right.
any of those issues.
Absolutely.
And so I
Right.
think that,
Right.
you could do a great job of educating that. I also think
Mhm.
that, relationships change
Yes.
in your 60s and 70s from in your 40s and 50s, and certainly from
Yeah.
when you're newlywed. And so understanding how relationships change, planning for
Absolutely.
retirement, planning for what you're going to do. My mom used to always, correct me when I quote that old line about you don't stop dancing when you get old when you stop dancing. She'd say, and in addition,
Bingo.
you don't stop playing bridge when you get old, you get old when you stop playing bridge. So I think there's a
Mhm.
lot about intellectual stimulation. I
Yes.
interviewed an expert on dementia once who said the problem is that you've got to start planning for what you're going to do to
Yep.
stall the advent of
Yes.
dementia 10 years before it comes. And he said it's the same
Mhm.
as the heart. It's the same
Mhm.
as your lungs. You're going to start exercising before you're going to have a heart attack. You're going to start exercising before you end up having cardio problems. You got to do the same thing for the brain. You got to start
Yeah.
exercising the brain 10
100%.
years before you would potentially get dementia. And so, thinking about all those things you're going to do. And I couldn't agree with you more about purpose. I think when we've lost our purpose in life, we've lost, growing. We're not gonna want to keep going. And so I think
Yeah.
that you're, Penelope, an incredible example of someone that has been so involved in our community, so involved in so many fundraising activities, so involved in building community that
Thank you.
you're a great example.
Thank you. We'd like to bring that to the program also. So we have applied to become a nonprofit because we want to literally walk the talk, but also as someone who is a very pro philanthropy and a massive fundraiser and volunteer. We're also looking at where are those volunteers going. Typically, volunteers, certainly at high levels, serving on boards, raising sufficient funds, tend to be boomer women who have had executive roles. As we retire, who is picking up that slack, so to speak? Because the next generations are less inclined to do so. So one of the things that Pat and I spoke about was what can we talk about volunteerism? Can we talk about mentorship, which might give a lot of our audience purpose? Apply those skills, serve on a board, serve your community, give a helping hand at a senior center or the Humane Society. Do what you can, but get out and do something. Have a purpose, a reason to get up in the morning.
So remind us when the show is on.
Mondays at 3 and 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 10 in the evening.
And is it also going to be available on a podcast?
Absolutely.
How does one get it on a podcast?
The
Pat?
easiest way, well, the easiest way is to go to www.next chapter, CHPTR, chats.com. It's always available on the website, but you can also find us on Spotify, Apple
YouTube.
Music, wherever you want to find your podcasts from.
And YouTube.
Well,
Yes.
you're going to have me as a guest on your podcast and your radio show sometime to talk about
It's a date.
in that same era. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
Pat Brown and Penelope Matheson joining us tonight to tell us a little bit about their show that's going to start on Monday afternoon at 3:00 and then repeated at 7:00 and then on the Saturday as well. This is a wonderful new addition to the lineup at Saga 960. Really good talk radio in the Toronto area, and so a real pleasure to have you join our family. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Pleasure
Thank
to be
you.
here.
That's our show for today, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. I remind you that I'm on every Monday through Friday at 6:00 on 960 AM. You can stream me online at www.saga960am.ca. My podcast at briancrombie.com, on social media, on YouTube, on podcast servers, as soon as the radio show goes to air. Good night, everybody.
Fantastic. We're tuning in.